We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello friends, today's lecture on cleaner production. In this lecture, we see introduction, principle of cleaner production, phases of cleaner production, practices, barriers to cleaner production, and last benefits. What is a cleaner production? Cleaner production is the continuous application of integrated preventive environmental strategies applied to process products and services to increase overall efficiency and reduce risk to human and the environment. Like in production processes, conserving raw materials and energy, eliminating toxic raw material, and reducing the quality and toxicity of all emissions and waste. Same in product, reducing negative impact along with life cycle of a product from raw material to disposal. Services is incorporating environmental concerns into designing and delivering services. Next, we see that cleaner production is a key way to ensure sustainable development, and it should be close link between cleaner production and sustainable development. Main aim of cleaner production is to increase production and corporate productivity through the more efficient use of raw materials, water and energy in order to reduce waste and to improve product design, which will be more environment friendly and cost effective over the whole their life cycle. Cleaner production of cleaner products and sustainable production and consumption are key element of sustainable societies. Let's see basic principle of cleaner production. There are 4 basic principle of a cleaner production. First one is the precaution and preventive principle. Precautions means it is not simply a matter of avoiding breaking laws. It also about ensuring that workers are protected from irreversible ill health and that plant is protected from irreversible damages. Same preventive principle is to look to upstream changes in a network of a system of production and consumption. Preventive nature of a cleaner production calls from new approaches to reconsider product design, consumer demand, and material consumption, and entire material basis of economic activity. This point involved in precaution and preventive principle. Second principle is integration principle. Integration involves adopting a holistic view of production cycle by reducing need for emission into environment of such substance. Their measure thereby provide for integrated protection of all environmental media. Third principle is comprehensive and or democratic principle. Comprehensive or democratic principle involves people, workers, and local residents in the way where production and consumption are organized. Last but not least, last principle is continuity. The continuity principle. In this, cleaner production is not end process. Its implementation calls for everlasting efforts of governments, industries, and consumers. We see phases of cleaner production. First phase is planning and organization phase. In this phase, project team are established and assessment goal are set. In this stage, planning and organization phase, participation and commitment of owners and workers were confirmed because they were determined the success of cleaner production implementation. Next phase is preliminary assessment phase. The purpose of this phase, preliminary assessment phase, is gain an understanding of process at each site to identify major inputs and outputs and to quantify and then to compare the waste. This phase is carried out to know basic information about the enterprise. This phase is conduct to acquire qualitative review including description of a company and identification of all stages of production processes. Third stage is detailed assessment phase. During the detailed assessment phase, cleaner production ideas were generated to reduce either directly or indirectly quantity and toxicity of a focus waste streams. More detailed knowledge of a process that generate focus waste was required. It includes assessment of various waste and collection of quantitative data. Fourth phase is feasibility assessment phase. In this phase, the identified cleaner production options were subjected to feasibility analysis. In feasibility assessment phase, options that were deemed feasible may then be implemented or and monitorized. Let's we see figure of phases of cleaner production. See planning and organization, preliminary assessment, detail assessment, implementation and monitoring progress, feasibility assessment phases, and all these phases if fulfilled then successfully implemented cleaner production project. Like in practice, cleaner production offers several techniques, okay, ranging starting from low to high cost, and simple techniques at or also advanced techniques. Simple like housekeeping. First of all, housekeeping involves every phases of industrial operations should apply throughout the entire premises, indoor and outdoor. Take appropriate managerial and operational actions to prevent, like leaks, spills, to enforce existing operation instructions, input substitutions. Like it involves replacement of input materials by less toxic or renewable materials. Okay. Next, better process control. Better process control includes modification in operational procedures, equipment, instruction and process record keeping in order to run process more efficient at lower waste and emission generation rate. Same equipment modification, it modifies existing production equipment and utilize in order to run process at higher efficiency, low waste and low emission generation rate. Technology change involves replacement of technology like processing, sequencing, synthesis pathway in order to minimize waste and emission generation during production. On-site recovery reuse. There are many materials that can be reused or recycled in industry. Production of useful byproduct. Consider transforming waste into useful byproduct to be sold for as an input for other company in different business sectors. Next, product modification. It is achieved by modified product characteristics in order to minimize environmental impact of product during or after its use, like disposal, and minimize environmental impact of its production. So we discuss the cleaner production practices. Let's we see barriers to cleaner production. In this, resistance to change, lack of information, expertise and adequate training, lack of communication with enterprise, competing business prioritize, perception of risk, failure of existing regulatory approach, and economic initiatives. If cleaner production practice, so there are many benefits like to improve products and service, to lower down risk, to improve company image, to improve workers health and safety condition, to reduce waste treatment and disposal cost, and saves cost on raw material, energy and water, and makes company, last but not least, makes companies more profitable and competitive. Thank you so much to attend this lecture.